Hello everyone, this is Abhi Bardwaj and I'm back with lecture series on science. Today I'm going to discuss about how life might have originated on a planet. And so we're going to focus on the life, and then we're going to also talk about human life and what I think about scientifically what might have happened. So when we look at life on planet Earth, it's something which we do not, or we haven't found anywhere else in our solar system yet. We know that life would certainly exist in many other similar planets, in our galaxy and throughout the universe. There's no doubt in it. There's no doubt in this. But when we go back around 14 billion years, when the universe was born, we know that at the time there were only subatomic particles and quarks. So basically, there were no atoms, and then it took about 300,000 years for first atom to form, and that was hydrogen atoms. So when you look at the beginning of the universe, when the atoms started forming, they were mostly hydrogen atoms, and there are a lot of hydrogen atoms, and then helium, and also very little traces of lithium. So only three different type of elements we can trace back. But when you look at the early universe, the earlier stars were formed basically from hydrogen combining together to form helium, and that was it. So there was only hydrogen which was forming helium, and there was traces of lithium. But as the time progressed, these mega stars, inside them the temperature and pressure was so high, and when they went into supernovas and bursted out, they created different elements which we see in today's world. So it took more than 9 billion years, before our solar system was formed, to for all these stars to form different elements within them, and then bursting out, and then the dust cloud with which our solar system was formed had most of the elements what we see today on our planet. And it's very important to note that if we do not have all these different elements, we wouldn't be here. So it's kind of planned, that it started with subatomic particles, formed the first atoms, which were mostly hydrogen atom and helium atom and traces of lithium, to slowly evolve through all these stars, where there was high temperature and pressure, to create all these different elements, as if someone knew or have programmed or planned that for the life to form on any planet, we are going to need all these elements. And they were formed sequentially in all these different stars, and took about 9 billion years before our solar system came into picture, which was about 4.5 billion years. And at that time the earth was formed. So, and also for life to exist, the very important ingredient is water. So that means hydrogen was already there, oxygen was formed, and then water was formed somewhere in the universe, which was brought to Earth through comets and different comets. So there are different theories basically how the water originated, but mostly accepted theory is that it came through comets. And that blasted on Earth. But it's very sequential if you look at. So early Earth, for instance, was very hot, not good condition for water to even exist, and even if the comets were falling on this with water, that might have evaporated. So it took other millions of years for Earth to get that enough water first, because water is the basis of life if you look. And if there was no water, then there wouldn't be any life. And when the first life originated, it was in the water itself, it was in the oceans, and it was singular cell life. So basically a chemical reaction happening which is leading to formation of first single cell, and that multiplied and formed the multicellular organisms, and then plant and animal life what we see today came from that first single cell. And that single cell basically had all the DNA. So the DNA is like a program within a cell which tells it how to divide. And that kind of, to me looks like as if the cell decided that I'm going to take over this entire planet Earth, and there are right conditions here, and everything we need is there. And basically what we're gonna need is, to take over, is that I have to create copies of myself, and diversify myself into different life forms, continuously exist. So it has to be passed from one generation to another. And that the little program I talked about, which is DNA basically, that's very smart, and that is the basis of all the life we see today on our planet. As if that first cell has taken over in different life forms, and it knew that it's going to need food, and so basically each life depend on other life form for surviving. And when we look at animal life, for instance, we survive mostly on plants and also on animals, but we wouldn't be able to survive if there wasn't any other life form. So it's very important to note that the first cell has taken over the entire planet in different life forms, and our DNA still traces back to that first cell. That's my understanding, is that it's the right condition on our planet which led it to what we see today. But it's also tweaking of the DNA very intelligently to create diversification and different life forms, and continuously exist by evolution and new generations. What I believe scientifically is that evolution going on continuously, and that evolution basically we see ourselves in our kids, and this is how we are passing on that information to next generations, and then next generations and next generations. And also it's like an artificial intelligence which learns from the nature. So what nature does is how different life forms kind of learn how to exist on different conditions. Even if it's very harsh conditions or whatever condition the life is, it adapts to that, and then next generation becomes better and better and better, and the species which cannot cope go extinct. And this is how it works, including the humans. I mean, we look at the humans, we have been actually on the top of the food chain, most intelligent life on this planet Earth, and we have evolved. We came from that very basic life I'm talking about. And when you trace back our DNA, also traces back to that first cell. So it's the mother nature basically which is controlling everything, and very intelligently. But the conditions were created as if deliberately. Like for this planet, for the life to exist, we need water. So water was created. We need sunlight. So the sun is kept at a distance which is enough to give us heat and light, but do not basically eradicate the life by its heat. So it's basically placed at a distance which is favorable for life. Similarly, ultraviolet light would kill all life forms. So the ozone layer was created. It's kind of a deliberate attempt to keep this very fragile planet, which has life, at a place which is very safe. And if you look at the universe, for example, is a very violent place, and where Earth is, how it is able to sustain all this life is a mystery itself. But it also kind of gives you the feeling of the creator, that how deliberately everything, for example, how much oxygen you need, how the oxygen is being produced by plants, and how do we how everything is cyclic. It makes you believe that this is something which just didn't happen itself, or by just certain chemical reactions, but were very carefully planned, and it's executing like a computer program, and the conditions has been created for millions of years. And I would go back actually billions of years, when those first stars were formed, as if it knew that to have that intelligent life form, we need all these elements. We don't need all this periodic table elements, and they were created in a sequence which took roughly 9 billion years. have all those elements, and then planet Earth was formed, kept at a distance where it can sustain life eventually. So this all is, my point here is not that it just happened by itself. It tells us how intelligently nature works, and it takes millions of years, and produce something like life itself. And then having animals like humans, I mean, intelligent life like humans is another very big mystery. And I think, when we look at ourselves, we look like as one individual, but we are made up of trillions of cells inside, and all these neurons in our head, basically they are not even connected, they are firing signals, and as if they're making us feel as if we are one individual, but we are not. We are made up of trillions of cells, and each cell in turn is made up of the same atoms which are found on our planet Earth. So basically what we are is a reflection of this planet Earth. And when you look at the atoms on Earth itself, came from all those different stars which were formed in the history of our universe. So it's as if everything is connected to every other thing to 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 lead us to where we are today, to bring intelligent life like us. And I think we need to celebrate that, and we have to salute nature for and recognize that how intelligently everything is possible, because to me it looks like pre-programmed. It looks like this has to happen to lead to the to form this life itself, and then intelligent life like human beings in the end. Thanks for watching.